On the afternoon of Good Friday, David Young drove to his favorite running trail near his home in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. David's a pastor and wanted time to pray and prepare for the upcoming church services. He began his run despite the ominous clouds on the horizon.
I knew there were storms coming. I didn't know we had a tornado watch, and certainly didn't know about a tornado warning.
2 miles into his run, the storm arrived. David didn't know it, but the full force of an EF4 tornado was headed right for him.
As it starts to rain, I recognized that, it could get serious here, but I was really kind of excited about it. I thought, hey, I've been looking for some sort of survival situation, and here's a good one.
David had been through storms before. While winter backpacking a few months earlier, he panicked as hypothermia set in during an unexpected storm.
Every day since that backpacking trip in February, I had been saying to God, don't ever let me panic again. You keep me calm no matter what happens.
When was the point that you realized you were in trouble?
I could hear a rumble in the distance. My head kept saying to my gut, there's no way this is a tornado.
Across town, David's family huddled together in a grocery store as the tornado passed by.
My son, my 13-year-old son, wouldn't sit down. Instead, he stood up and he was just pacing back and forth. And several of them kept saying, you need to come over here with us. And he kept saying, no, if it's okay with you, I need to pace and pray for my dad. Praying specifically for me. They didn't know I was out on the trail.
As the tornado approached, David darted off the trail and wrapped himself around the base of a nearby tree.
As soon as I saw the debris, I began to hear the forest explode above me. The sound of the trees crashing was just unbelievable. It was 1,000 trees exploding all at once. It was almost deafening, the sound of the trees. And when it hit me, it went from 10 or 15 miles an hour of the wind to 200 miles an hour all at once.
But you didn't let go.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna let go. Now wherever the tree went, I was going, but I was not gonna let go of that tree.
David held tight as the winds lifted his body in the air. Bushes and trees were uprooted and smashed all around him.
And then the eye of the tornado passed over me. So I dropped down and I curled back around the tree again. And as I looked up, it was the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen. It was peaceful, it was calm, and at the very top of the tornado, the debris didn't move to the left or the right, it moved up and down. And my first thought was that I'm in heaven and these are angels dancing up and down. It looked like angels just performing a little ballet at the top. And I lay there and I looked up and I remember feeling warm and loved and thinking to myself, this is the greatest gift that God could ever have given me.
You felt the love of God in the eye of a tornado.
It's hard to explain that, but it's true. Yeah, I did. I felt God's love right in the middle of the eye of the tornado.
But David's moment of tranquility was short-lived.
And then when the back wall hit, it hit with as much violence as the front wall, and it began to drop the things. And it didn't feel as though trees were dropping. It felt as though they were being thrown down on the ground hard. At first, I was thinking to myself, this is unbelievable. Of all things, I'm in the middle of a tornado. By the time the back wall had hit me, I was thinking, okay, this has got to end pretty soon. I won't make it much longer if this keeps going.
2 trees came crashing down on top of David. One smashed his left leg, and the other hit his head, giving him a concussion and a deep gash. But he was alive. As the tornado passed, David scrambled over the debris and made his way up toward the street. The reality of what just happened began to sink in.
It looked like a nuclear bomb had gone off. Just 30 seconds before, there had been a beautiful forest, and now it appeared that every tree in the forest was down. There was twisted debris everywhere, pieces of buildings, huge chunks of buildings. There was the entire side of a semi-tractor trailer was down there on a tree right next to me, wrapped around that tree.
David made his way to a nearby parking lot, then was rushed to the hospital by men who found him there.
They put 7 or 8 staples in my head, and they said to stop the bleeding. I would have bled to death. Wrapped my leg up, and best we can tell, it was just beat up badly. It may have been a hairline fracture, but nothing serious.
Easter Sunday, David walked out in front of his church and preached a sermon that was born in the eye of a tornado.
What was your message?
Message was that regardless of how bad the storm is, Christ is risen. And one of the things that I've thought about often is that holding onto that tree in the middle of the storm is just a wonderful metaphor for a life, that if we cling to the cross of Christ, holding onto that tree, even if you don't know what's coming next, if you don't know how bad it's going to be, regardless of how much debris is slamming around you, you hang onto that tree and God's going to take care of it.